My Skyrim series does involve quite a lot of dark shots. The very nature of the character means he will spend a strangely large amount of time creeping around in the dark, either in dungeons looking for relics, or in people's homes looking for everything else, including sweet rolls. However, a number of people recently have said that the videos have become so dark they cannot see. Not just it's a little too dark, but it's so dark we can barely even see lights, which is a little strange. Now, there were enough of them and they were adamant enough that I decided to try and reproduce this. So I checked my videos on a variety of machines, my gaming rig, my render rig, my phone, the laptop that my girlfriend uses, and finally on my own laptop. Now, I don't normally watch videos on that laptop, but I instantly saw what people were saying. This is a screenshot from my laptop of my latest video, and to me, on the machine I'm now looking at it on, it looks fine. It's dark, it's a dark shop, but I can actually see everything. I can see the walls at the back. There's nothing in the room that's too dark to see, and I think the lighting is really atmospheric. It's great. However, when I was actually looking at it on my laptop, I could not see about half of the image. The entire ceiling area was pitch black. The right hand side of the screen was more or less pitch black, and it was too dark. It was absolutely, no arguments, too dark. And the laptop was at about 90% brightness, and cranking it up to 100 really didn't make very much difference. So I decided to play around with the graphics card settings themselves. Now, this laptop has a built-in Intel graphics card, so I went along to the Intel graphics settings and it opened up this panel. There are 6 options, but the only 2 that were of interest to me at the time were display and video. I initially went to display and played around with the brightness and the contrast, and that actually could fix the problem with the video. But it tended to make the rest of the screen absolutely hideous. I mean, I could increase the brightness and contrast, but it was everywhere, and it made everything else I did on the laptop unbearable. So then I went to the other option, which was video, and again played around with the settings. But the one setting that made, well, probably the greatest difference was input range. I noticed it was defaulting to use the application settings, and if I changed it to use the hardware settings full range, immediately the YouTube video got a lot brighter. Now, I'm looking at this shot and it looks horrible to me now. This on my editing machine looks terrible. It looks completely washed out. I would hate to watch a video like that. But when I look at that on my laptop, it looks fine. It looks more or less like the first image did to me on this machine. So it is a possible fix if you are having the same issue. If you go along to whatever your graphics card settings are and see if there's a video section that allows you to change the input range, or perhaps even the standard color correction, because I did try that as well. I changed it from the application settings to the driver settings, and that didn't work for me. It did not change anything in the YouTube player, but it did change the playback in the Windows Media Player. So, that's another option. Maybe for you, one of the other settings will work. I also played around on my gaming rig, which uses an Nvidia graphics card, and I managed to have some success changing the video playback settings on the video player, but not the browser. So if I changed from video player settings to the Nvidia settings and then, cranked the brightness all the way up and applied it, it would change nothing on the YouTube playback whatsoever. Nothing changed. Whereas if I click play on the video player itself, you can see the brightness has been applied. So it's a little hit and miss as to which applications these settings will control. I'm going to keep looking into it. Maybe there is a way to specify video playback in a certain browser, because I can also tell you that when I tried to get it working on Firefox on my laptop, it didn't. It remained dark. So the tweaks I made with the Intel graphics card worked for Chrome and Chrome Canary, but they did not work for Firefox. It remained too dark. So it's still a little hit and miss. I don't really understand it. All I know is playing around with these settings can have an effect on the playback, and it may be worth you trying that out on your device if videos are coming out too dark. If you are such a person and you're having a problem, if you could make a comment down below saying what graphics card you're using, what monitor you're using, and what browser you watch the videos on, or is it the app, so that we can try and see if there is some connection, or maybe try and find a better solution than this. As I've said, for the vast majority of viewers on the vast majority of devices, there doesn't seem to be a problem. But having managed to see this on one particular device, and it's not a bad device, it's actually a really good screen, 4K screen, and it was way too dark. I do realize that there is a problem for some people. So let's see if we can figure this out, okay?